Hello, my name is Carl from Time Out Entertainment. Thank you for clicking on our demonstration. We provide a range of entertainment solutions for venues. This is our market-leading product called InFusion Game Show, and it's a rendition of a lot of well-known TV game shows put together for the ultimate 2-hour patron experience at your venue. So all teams have a wireless buzzer. We ask them at this point simply to press any button on their buzzer to make sure their buzzer's ready to rock and roll. Let's take a look. So our first round of 10 questions is Sale of the Century. In this instance, everybody plays. A correct answer will earn them 10 points. An incorrect answer will lose them 2. Looking at our first question, we can see the countdown timer up the top. That's how much time we have remaining. As teams lock in their answers, we're going to be seeing the residual teams that have not yet locked in their answer with a reminder in the top window. This is the amount of teams who have answered and the amount of points that are up for grabs for this particular question. Once all teams have answered, or the timer runs out, the question locks out, demonstrates the correct answer, and we can also see here that one team got that correct, 2 teams got it incorrect, and no teams failed or chose to answer before the timer ran out. We can also see right down to individual responses, how long they took down to the hundredth of a second, and how many points they earned or lost as a result. There's also lovely other features where we can look at bar charts, etc., as to what answers came in, and that's particularly helpful when we have trick questions where everyone falls for a certain answer. At the end of every Sale of the Century round, there is a Who Am I question. We do the same thing for authenticity. They'll be presented with this pictorial. It's going to be coming clear over a period of time, as do the clues that we give them. I was born on the 16th of February 1973 in Queensland. Not trivial. That would be very quick. I hope you've got the right answer. Leslie Nielsen, you say. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Remaining teams can also try. Listen out for the clues. My brothers are called Gavin, Garth and Norman. By my early teens, I had a collection of regional and national titles. Love that quiz. What is your answer? You say Kathy Freeman, and you are correct. Well done. And that is Sale of the Century. And obviously we take them to the leaderboard. We can do individual round scores as well, and on to the next round experience, which is Jeopardy. This game show, you're presented with topics, and we call it Power to the Punters because the teams get to choose their risk factor. With their wireless buzzers, they select anywhere from 0 to 100 points based on the topic of sport, which is what the question will be following. Now that is a risk they take, and they choose. If they get the question wrong or fail to answer, they will lose that many points. Otherwise, they have the opportunity to gain, and that's what we want. What is my middle name is the question. We have Brian, Glenn, James or Keith. Teams locking in their answers, and on we go. So that's Jeopardy, very similar if you like to Sale of the Century, bar from the fact that they get to choose their own risk factor. We then move on to Fantastic Feud, our rendition of Family Feud. And here's the only round in the night where we hand out paper answer sheets. And that's because they'll be huddling together and working out 5 possible answers to a question based on most popular survey responses. Name something you keep in your trousers. So teams will be filling out all different ideas and talking about them, up to 5 survey results on their sheet, which could be coins, keys, other strange answers, who knows. And then we move on for them to self-score on their table. The first survey result for 50 points is for money, and for 40 points, keys. 30 points would be for mobile phone. We have 20 points up for wallets, and for 10 points, last but not least, the private parts. I knew someone had to do that. Alright, maybe something they should keep in their trousers. That is Family Feud. At this point we'll be going to an intermission, and as our host goes around and collects those sheets, people are encouraged to buy another drink, order their dessert, and to see us back in about 7 minutes time. So all the scores go into the system manually at that point in time, and we get ready to run the next round. And let's do that now. Lyrical lineup. Based on the popular TV show Don't Forget the Lyrics, it's all about music. And here we also introduce a penalty or a challenge for those who can lock their answers in the fastest, because you'll get a maximum of 20 points, which will reduce as the timer counts down, and a maximum also of -5 for those incorrect answers. And we have a popular "What's the next line of this song?" We expect people to be singing along, tapping their feet, possibly even some dance moves for bonus points. And if I had the choice, I'm going to go, yeah, I'd always want to be there. Not sure about the other teams. Ooh, all of our answers are locked in. Only one team getting that one correct. Let's have a look. That summer seemed to last forever. That's what most people think, but in this particular verse, it's, yeah, I'd always want to be there. Sorry to those teams that have got it wrong. We also commonly play the full slide of that particular music clip just to prove the point. So that's, don't forget the lyrics. Once again, 10 questions, but those points being related to how quickly you can lock in your answers. The newer Price is Right, based of course on the new Price is Right. Come on down and have a look. Everyone plays. A correct answer would earn you 50 points. An incorrect loses you 10 points, and you have 60 seconds per question. The questions look something like this. Which 3 products will have the total cost of $9.97? So teams are challenged here to provide multiple responses they think would combine to give them a total retail price of $9.97. In this instance, whilst it looks like all teams got it correct, they may have got 1 or 2 of the items correct. So once again, we go to the responses chart. We can compare that to the 3 ticks of B, E and F, and we can see that we got 2 questions correct here, so we got 100 points. We only got 1 here and 1 here that got them 50 points, or half the points for not having as many responses correct. So lots of different price related information. Of course, it is the newer Price is Right, so that's what it ought to be. Looking again at our leaderboard, working along nicely, especially for Love That Quiz. Okay, Sale of the Century. We're back here because Sale of the Century do something fantastic. It's called Fast Money. We read the questions out fast. It's a crescendo in the night, but the risk factor is also high. 20 points for a correct answer, -20 if you get it wrong. So they'll be buzzing in and we'll be asking the answer to the question and correcting it accordingly. In which Australian state would you find Cataract Gorge? Any answers out there? No answers so far. Love That Quiz. What's your answer? They say Adelaide. Look, I'm sorry, but you're not correct. Not trivial. Your answer is Tasmania. That is correct, in the beautiful city of Launceston. So 10 very punchy questions. Obviously, we can stand people up, get a bit more crowd participation for the fast finger round. Majority rules is a real hoot. What we have here is questions with 6 possible answers. I'll just pause that for a moment. And in this case, the questions are obviously a little bit subjective, and what we want is for the crowd to tell us how they feel. So being majority rules, whichever answer or answers get the most responses from teams become the correct answers, and they earn themselves 100 points. So here we go. Let's see what kind of responses we get out there. There we go. We have 3 correct answers, and that's because they all had equal top responses. Exaggerates, sleeps and snores. Something that a man does more than a woman. Alright, moving along. So majority rules, it's all about how people in that room think, and they have to think outside of the square and get to know each other that little bit better over the weeks. Gets quite a great response. Pass the buck. I won't go into too much detail here, but essentially we spin a wheel. The host gets to select which teams participate, which is typically everybody. Those teams are up on the wheel, and there's topics down the right hand side, and the host gets to spin the wheel. So this is going to bring up a team and a topic. We will then have questions to ask them relating to that. Pass the buck means that they get a choice. They can either risk winning or losing 100 points. So Gunda winners have ended up with music. They may feel confident with that, or they may not. In which case, they might say, we pass the buck. They can use their strategy and pass the buck to another team that they think are also weak in music and would likely lose and give them an advantage. So the host then goes to our music-related questions. What did Def Leppard drummer Rick Allen lose in a 1984 auto accident? The answer, of course, is arm. They get a chance to answer that. We can only pass the buck once, and the game show goes on. So we're now at the end of the round. Let's take another look at those points. Okay, getting closer at the end. Our final round is called It's a Knockout. It's a Knockout is essentially like Eddie's Hot Seat or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. If you get a question wrong, you leave the seat. In this case, your buzzer or your team's buzzer is deactivated for the rest of the round. The questions get harder, there's 12 of them, and the points also get higher as the round continues. Where am I is the first question. Nice easy one if you're into the arts. It is, of course, Louvre, France, Paris. Everyone getting that correct? Nobody eliminated at this stage. For higher points, what was Mike's profession?
Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing...
Oh, only 2 teams getting that one correct. Probably a good time to look at the responses. We can see that Love That Quiz got that answer wrong and their buzzer is paused out. That leaves only 2 teams. And as the questions proceed, we would obviously get to the end of the round, or if all teams lock themselves out, the round would finish and we would move on for our final question of the night. Final question is a betting question. We want to share the love. We don't want the same winners every week, demotivating other teams. So we've introduced an opportunity to bet up to 50% of their entire points balance on the correct or incorrect answer to the final question. So it's a risk of up to 50%. If they're on 1,000 points, they know they're risking up to 500 points. It's their choice. Moving on, who was the voice for the pictured Simpsons characters? We also show her face, and the options are Hannah Azaria, Nancy Cartwright, Demi Moore, or Yardley Smith. Most of us know Hank Azaria would be the correct name for option A, so it's a trick answer, and that this is Nancy Cartwright. I'm going to be kind and give everyone a correct answer. I didn't lock in bets for them anyway. For the purposes of the demonstration, we just need to see how this thing works. So drum rolls at the end. We have our 3 teams all coming very close together. Love that quiz. Well done, you've won the game show. Of course, we'd love you to call for more information. So whoever sent you this particular game show demonstration, you'll have their contact details. We'd love to show you this and many other editions of the QuizXpress Game Show, as well as our paper-based trivia options, our musical bingo options. If there's a need in your venue, we're sure we can fill it. Thank you for watching the demonstration, and we hope to hear from you at Time Out Entertainment.